I might put my background to blue lights quickly and then we'll start again. Can't really tell the difference or whatever. May as well not have fucking bothered. All right, let's do it again. ALANNIS, tell me, do you like to run fast?
Depends on the thing. If the ice cream's van is going past, sure.
Damn ice cream van. I love ice cream. Do you?
I do. And that's why I run when I see the van go past.
We're here to continue our video game video game movie ranked and reviewed series with our review for Sonic the Hedgehog. Hello everyone and welcome back to Ranked and Reviewed. This is Video Game Movies Ranked and Reviewed. I am your host, TOMYE West, and joining me as always is my co-host, ALANNIS MAXIMUS.
Salutations.
How fast can you run, ALANNIS?
It depends on how fast the ice cream van is going.
I don't see the ice cream van going very fast ever, man, because like they've got those signs on the side that say like kids are running around it and stuff, and you'd think that if they're like preaching it, it'd be going slow with them children approaching. Hey, yes. We're here talking about ice cream and not Sonic.
You know what they should play instead of that jingle though? Our podcast. It's what makes you want ice cream more than our podcasts.
Nothing. And you know, our podcast should be played at all times, whether it's on your way to school, on your way to work, at a funeral of a past loved one, at a kindergarten that's just had a building dropped on it. I don't even know where to go from here. So anyway, let's just continue. We're here to review the movie Sonic the Hedgehog. This continues our video game movies ranked and reviewed series, which we've already reviewed the movies Uncharted, Tomb Raider, Super Mario Brothers from 1993. What else have we done?
Detective Pikachu.
And I'm having a look. And that's it. That's all we've done. So it's a short list so far, but don't worry. We're building on it. ALANNIS, we're going to get into our overview of this little blue marsupial. Is it marsupial?
I don't know.
Mammal?
I don't know if they're marsupials. That's if they have a pouch. Do hedgehogs have pouches?
No.
Ah.
We've never seen Sonic pull something out of his pouch. all these video game creatures, like Sonic's a hedgehog, Tails is a fox, Knuckles is an echidna. What's Amy?
Amy?
The girl from Sonic.
The pink one.
Yeah.
I think she's also a hedgehog.
That's really uncreative.
Yeah.
And Crush Bandicoot, like he's a bandicoot. I don't know, man. Just some weird choices. Like I would have never gone with a hedgehog as a design, but I guess it's come out okay considering Sonic's had such long.
Or an echidna that looks absolutely nothing like an echidna.
Yeah. What's with Australian animals too? Like a bandicoot, that's an Australian animal, isn't it?
I think so.
We must.
Devil should fuck their shit up.
We must look into this more.
Yes.
Listen to us, unknowledgeable swines. So let's go with our overview of this movie. Sonic the Hedgehog, released 2020, with a rating of PG, with the runtime of 1 hour and 39 minutes and an IMDb rating of 6.5 out of 10. This was directed by Jeff Fowler and written by Pat Casey and Josh Miller, and it stars Ben Schwartz as the voice of Sonic, James Marsden, John Marsden, James Marsden,
Ah.
Jim Carrey. Sorry, we've been playing Red Dead Redemption, both of us, so we're both all about the Marsdens at the moment.
Yes.
And the synopsis goes a little like this. After discovering a small blue fast hedgehog, a small town police officer must help him defeat an evil genius who wants to do experiments on him. Now, this movie had a budget of, let me find this shit. It had a budget of, $85 million. On its opening weekend in US and Canada, it grossed $58 million. And then total for gross US and Canada, not just opening weekend, total run, $148.9 million. And it grossed worldwide, when all said and done, $319.7 million. So it was a profitable movie. And with that, we're going to get into our actual thoughts and review of this movie. And as always, ALANNIS, you take the stage.
First time I watched this movie, I was like, yeah, it's all right. And then I didn't watch it until the other day. I was like, you know what? That was decent. That's, I think, the word that encapsulates this best. Decent. Not great, but decent. Decent.
Were you a Mario kid or a Mario kid or a Sonic kid?
I didn't. I kind of was both, because I didn't have the consoles when I was a kid, but then kind of played them emulated on the computer like many, many years later. Or I played them at my friend's house. Or played them at like Maya and stuff, where they had little displays and sit there and play games and hurt your neck because you're looking up like that.
Yeah, well, see, I was a Mario kid, yeah, and I was taught that Sonic was the competition, and my friends had like Segas and stuff, and I would always play Sonic and be like, this is not what I want from a video game. It's all about being fast. There's like really no sort of skill I felt that goes into playing Sonic. It's just about fast. Like I always felt like Mario had like at least sort of a precise gaming control scheme that you had to do, whereas Sonic was like tap the button, jump on the pad, tap the button. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. That's how it felt to me anyway. So when they announced the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, I wasn't excited, because to me, Sonic's never been a brand that I've like truly cared about. Like the recent announcement of the Super Mario Brothers movie and the way that looks in the trailer, I know you're not a fan of the voice like casting they've chosen, ALANNIS, but you can't say that they haven't done the world justice just by looking at the trailer.
Absolutely.
It looks beautiful. And because of that, I am excited about Mario, even though there is concerns for it. Whereas with this movie, the trailer came out, I was underwhelmed, because that's how I just am with Sonic in general. Like, I've never been a fan of his games, really. I'm barely even a Mario games fan, you know? Like, I'm just don't really play platformers, but I still have like this like nostalgic love for Mario. So for me, watching this movie was a bit of a chore. And I felt like it was just like what you felt kind of with Detective Pikachu, which is it was just another kids movie. Like, but the problem with it being that it's Sonic basically in a foreign world, so on Earth, and I feel that takes the fun away from the movie being in a real life setting rather than being in, say, a 3D rendered Green Hill Zone or the casino levels or the whatever levels, you know, like I don't know. I just feel like this movie is okay. And I just don't think, but I don't think it's anything special either. Whereas I feel like the Mario movie has a real good chance at being really special if people can get past the whole Chris Pratt thing if they aren't a fan of it. You know what I mean? But I will say that I think Jim Carrey is fun in this movie. I think whoever's doing the voice of Sonic, the guy we just said, Ben Schwartz or whatever, he does a great job of Sonic doing like the voice of Sonic. I do like the beginning with the Green Hill Zone that we get sort of in Sonic's world. And I just wish we got more of that. We get a little bit more of sort of this weird, obscure Sonic world at the end of the movie with Jim Carrey, but that's all not enough for me to kind of fall in love with this movie, if that makes sense.
One thing I think that gave me a soft spot with it is, do you remember when it first came out, the original design of Sonic for the trailers?
I was going to bring a photo of that up, man. And actually, it's really funny because the people that are clicking on this video to watch this right now, that's the thumbnail.
But I think because they listened and they fixed something, it's unheard of. I kind of tip my hat to that a bit. And that's a funny thing about that Sonic, I think they call him Sonic or something. He's in the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie.
Yes, actually, I saw that. And while I haven't seen the movie, I have heard that it's hilarious. I really want to check it out because it seems to me like it's sort of just like the Lonely Island guys getting to make a Chip and Dale movie, and I'm all about that because I love the Lonely Island. I love Andy Samberg, and I also love that they kind of didn't take the Chip and Dale movie and make it just another kids outing. They kind of added some humor to it that was clever, and that's what I mean. I wish that they kind of could have done that with Sonic in this. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which is not take it so seriously and have fun with it, but also do it justice too. And I feel like just having him in the real life setting with this cop, like small town cop in this small town, and I just feel like it's a cheap kids movie that's Sonic, even though it's not cheap. Yeah, I don't like. It's weird the actor they chose to have for the main role and things like that. Like it feels less blockbuster-ish than it should. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it definitely does.
But as I said, again, things I liked about it: Jim Carrey, the voice of Sonic, the part we do get of Green Hill Zone, the ending, sort of the tease that we get with the ending. But everything in between that is kind of, excuse the pun, but a blur. But I do feel like that'll be made up for in the sequel, because I feel like while it doesn't take place in Sonic's world, it features more of the characters, more of the elements to what makes Sonic, and that might balance it out a little bit more compared to just Sonic and this cartoonish Jim Carrey Dr. Robotnik. Apart from that, everything else feels like it's not even connected to being a Sonic movie. I don't know if that...
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you, that they're the only things that make it feel like a Sonic movie, which is kind of a problem?
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, there was not much lore from Sonic's world brought into it. Like, I would have preferred it was like half and half, like in Sonic's world on Earth, planet Earth, in Sonic's world on planet Earth. But yeah, I don't know, man. It just felt like another 3D Alvin and Chipmunks movie to me. But again, I don't think this is the worst video game adapted movie. I actually think this is pretty decent for what we've had in the past with video game adapted movies. But again, it's just a brand that I don't really care about. Like, I have no affinity for him, and I just never was excited. Like, people like a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, I was like, meh. Whereas Mario, I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, you know, so I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Is there anything else you think this movie didn't do great?
Yeah, I think it very much kind of like Detective Pikachu as well. It kind of follows the same tropes. I don't know. I try to work out why, and I think maybe the differences between them in the way they're doing the worlds with Mario and Sonic is there's at least 3 or 4 Sonic cartoons, maybe even 5. So it's kind of, I think they were trying to avoid that comparison, which I get, but this movie just feels like almost like a prequel or a starting point. And yeah, it's not great, but it's decent. It's watchable. I might watch it again one day.
Definitely. It didn't make me go like this.
Unlike that time I told you what I thought of Batman and Robin.
Yeah, which actually made me go. Bet you now that that's just stuck on screen and we don't even get the rest of the podcast. You know what I mean?
I'm cool to talk behind it if it is.
So yeah, I mean, where would you put? Like, we're not going to talk about. We're going to leave the ranking till last, like we always do. But like, do you think? How do you compare this to other video game adapted movies?
I think it's one of the better ones. But they also kind of were really creating something new. Like, it was hard to screw it up because it was so obviously not how the games are or how things before it are. Which, I mean, in some ways that it was decent and they did that kind of gives it a couple of extra points. But at the same time, as you said, it reduces from it. So it's, yeah.
Oh man, I just noticed a spelling mistake and everything on this bullshit.
Oh,
well. I spelled Sonic the Hedgehog wrong on our fucking captions. And I was like listening to you and I noticed the spelling mistake and I just went, I've lost my ability to listen to you for a second because there's a lot of fuck ups with our show. I tell you what, it's a dumpster truck on fire going down the street. You know what I'm saying?
Or a flaming cop car crashing into a kid dressed as Mike Myers and exploding.
Dude, I was just listening to a full in-depth history of Halloween. It's actually still going behind me. From 616 Entertainment, which he's a really good dude. Seems like a really good dude, and he's done a 4-hour full comprehensive thing about Halloween, and he was like laughing about that part in Halloween 2 as well, and saying that it's funny because the cop's like, he just came out of nowhere. It's like, bro, you were going like 70 miles per hour in the back street. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I mean, no spoilers ahead for our next review coming in video game movies ranked and reviewed. But me and ALANNIS have already seen Sonic the Hedgehog 2. We did these back to back. And just get excited for that because I think both of us have a little bit more to say about that movie than this one. I feel like we basically covered all the points of what's good about it and what isn't good. Like, I feel like all the real world actors are very blah in this movie except for Jim Carrey. How do you feel about the main character that's like cop dude that's along for the ride with Sonic?
He's forgettable. I like his partner's sister, the sassy lady of color. She's good. She's a little cliche, but she's also kind of funny. I don't mind it.
Yeah. I just feel like it's annoying because unlike with Halloween Ends, where we waited for a long time for this ending or this more Michael Myers kills and things like that, we got none. We got nothing. And I feel very let down. I feel very disappointed. I also feel very like I didn't get my fix. Like I'm still waiting for this movie to come out, if that makes sense. And I wonder if this movie did the same for other people that really like Sonic, or if this was everything that they wanted, because it's hard to put yourself in the shoes of someone who likes something so much that it means everything to them, which kind of is what Halloween means to me, like meant to me. And I wonder, do you remember, was this movie like really loved and accepted by hardcore Sonic fans or not? Because I have no memory. I just remember it coming out and people going, yeah.
I think when it did come out, people were okay with it. I can't remember going, oh, that crap. And I can't remember people going, that was amazing.
Unlike what we've heard with Halloween Ends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go check out our review for that if you haven't already, because you're going to hear more of us talking about that towards the end of the year when we do our top 5 best films of the year and top 5 worst films of the year. And I don't know if you can guess where it's going to be or what list it's going to make an appearance on, but yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a little spoiler. It definitely wasn't one of the best.
I'll give another spoiler. It's on the same list as Morbius. I broke a ball. It's my turn.
Yeah, it is on the same list as Morbius, isn't it, ALANNIS? Break another bowl.
Yeah, I blame Morbius for that ball breaking.
Break
You hear that, Jared Leto?
Break another bowl.
It's just like a Greek wedding here now.
By the way, when we went to go see Halloween Ends the other day, we got to see the poster for Wog Boys Forever or whatever it's called. Terrible. So with that,
who wanted? That's like today I found out. Do you know what sequel they're thinking of making or are making?
what?
Twister 2, a sequel to that movie with Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt, Twister. It's like, just because you can make something doesn't mean you should make something.
Yeah. That's why I'm kind of happy that I feel like we're going to get done right by with the Super Mario Brothers movie, because they learnt from the mistake that they did with the Super Mario Brothers movie in the first place. And they're also still being very kind of like on the fence with what they reveal and don't reveal with this Mario Brothers movie. I almost feel like they're doing that on purpose so that people are still questioning if it's going to be good or not, but they gave you a taste to be like, don't worry, it's going to be okay. I don't know. With this movie, again, there was no teaser. There was no, well, I wonder if this movie is going to be good when this trailer came out. They just dropped the full on, this is what Sonic's going to be. And the internet caught fire. And I feel like the internet caught fire more than when people heard Chris Pratt's voice for Super Mario. What about?
Definitely. Absolutely. Everyone was just like, what the hell is that?
It was a really ugly Sonic. It was disturbing. So yeah, I don't know. I hope that this movie was everything that Sonic fans wanted, because as a non-Sonic fan, look, I'm lying when I say I didn't like Sonic at all, but the best Sonic game for me was Sonic Adventure, which came out on Dreamcast, and I was obsessed with that game. But it still wasn't like this like childhood existence thing, you know what I mean? Where I was like, I love Sonic. I know.
I definitely, in that sense, was definitely more of a Mario guy.
Definitely, and that's what I mean is I think me and you have stronger feelings towards the brand of Mario and how the Mario movie is going to turn out than we do really care about these Sonic movies. But at the end of the day, they're not bad, they're not hard to watch, and they're a bit of fun. But at the end of the day, we also got to remember that these are kids' movies, and same with the Mario Brothers movie. That is going to be a kids' movie, so I can only like it so much being a kids' movie. But I do put myself in the shoes of myself with Detective Pikachu and go, okay, so I love that movie, and it's everything I wanted a real life Pokemon to be. So if that's the case for the Sonic fans with this movie, then 2 thumbs up. So, ALANNIS, now, unlike last episode, do you have your thing you wanted to do ready?
Oh, the things you didn't know.
The things you may have missed. You don't even know the name of your own fucking thing now. Do you have any of that or not? No.
One moment.
Short answer, no. Long answer, no.
It's been a long week, but we'll do this. We'll improvise. I'm a good podcast host.
Just Googling facts right now. I told you, I knew it. Did you know that? Yeah, I noticed some really interesting things, Tom. To start reading out usernames.
Here we go. Did you know that Sonic the Hedgehog is a hedgehog?
And doesn't have a pouch.
The town. That's a good one. That actually is a good one that I think I noticed when I was watching it the first time, but didn't last time. It's Green Hills, Montana.
Yeah, I noticed that. And I was like, huh, Green Hills.
That's
I'm
about
ready-
all that
I'm
I can
ready
really
to
comment on because I don't know much about Sonic. So I'm like, I can't say that to make it sound amazing.
I'm just gonna keep letting you dig yourself in this hole, Alanis.
Dig in my hole, dig in my hole.
Paint that one.
Did you know that hedgehogs don't lay eggs? There we go. There's my segment. Things you may know.
That was what you may have missed with Alanis. Well, that segment's going well. Let's get on to.
I'll have it right for the next one.
Sure, you will. All right. Let's get on to some trivia for Sonic the Hedgehog. Fucking hell.
Did you know he's a hedgehog?
Yeah. Yeah.
Much like in real world, he's also blue, like real hedgehogs.
Yeah. Let's get into this trivia before we just fucking bury ourselves further. Jim Carrey remarked during his press promotion for the film that very little of the dialogue from the pages of the script ended up in the movie. He was also given a lot of creative freedom for his non-verbal scenes, receiving basic instructions like, here's the room and this is the music, just do something, go with it. He's like, according to animator Max Schneider, Paramount expected that Sonic fans would object to the redesign, but the general audiences would not care, as had been the case with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in 2014. He said Paramount felt the design gelled with the real-world setting and characters.
Yes.
And also made people want to carry vomit bags. There is a Chaos Emerald drawn on Sonic's map. Many Sonic games revolve around Sonic's efforts to collect the 7 Chaos Emeralds. The Mushroom Planet directly invokes Mushroom Hill Zone from the first level of Sonic & Knuckles in 1994. In that zone, the various mushrooms could be used as springs and platforms for Sonic to jump on. The production team originally created a more realistic design for Sonic, which incorporated more fur, more spikes over his body, new running sneakers, normal-sized eyes, and a human athletic physique. This design got a lot of negative feedback, and the film's release was delayed by a few months, while Sonic was redesigned to have more faithful cartoonish design. The only major element kept was the new sneakers, which he was going to change to. What? The only major element kept was the new sneakers, which he was going to change to his red shoes. That makes no sense, but whatever. During his speeding antics in that motel, Sonic can be seen doing his balancing pose from Sonic the Hedgehog in 1991. This particular reference was requested by Tyson Hesse. I have no idea who the fuck Tyson is. Yes, Walter Goggins.
I was about to say the same thing.
Jim Carrey is Ben Schwartz's favorite actor and hero.
Who?
The guy that did the voice of Sonic, I'm guessing.
Ah.
The film was released the 60th year. What? No. Oh, okay. Yeah. The film was released the year of the 60th anniversary of Sonic developer Sega. I was nearly thinking they were saying it was the 60th anniversary of Sonic, and I was like, what? No one in the 70s was like, hey, we want a blue hedgehog. Original Sonic game music composer Masato Nakamura has a credit on the movie for writing the classic Green Hill Zone, which is incorporated into the score. And we will do one more. The ring sound effect from the games is heard when Sonic catches a ring with his quill in mid-air.
Yeah.
That was trivia. Alanis, tell me a little bit more about your experience watching this movie. Like, before we get on to any more stuff, because I just feel like I've said a lot more than you have, and, you know, these movies were your fucking idea, mate.
I don't know. I feel I don't have a lot to say about this movie because it was so. I don't know. It has nothing that really stands out about it apart from a couple of scenes, like the end sequence and the bar fight are the only things I could really remember from the last time I watched it. But at the same time, when you watch it, it goes at a nice pace. Like it doesn't feel like kids movie. So it's a curious movie to watch. I don't feel strongly either way, and I definitely don't feel negative.
It's kind of how I feel about this movie. It's just okay.
Yeah, it's decent.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know this, but there definitely is going to be a Sonic the Hedgehog 3 as well.
That is good.
Jim Carrey has stated that he will not return as Dr. Robotnik. And what seems to be rumors, I'm not sure if they get true or not, so don't quote me on this, but apparently Shadow the Hedgehog will be taking the place as the villain.
That would make sense.
Yes. Very much so. Just like it made sense to bring Tails and Knuckles into the sequel.
Yes.
I like the little tease for Tails at the end of this movie as well, by the way.
Yes.
Very cool. And I really do like the Mushroom Planet part at the end of this movie. It's cool. It looks really cool and well done.
It's interesting that Jim Carrey doesn't want to come back. Although I think he quit acting, didn't he?
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to look this up.
I'm pretty sure after the Will Smith thing, he's like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore.
Jim Carrey, Sonic 3. So it says the film producers told IGN that they wouldn't even try to recast Robotnik with another actor, and that Jim Carrey is always a member of the Sonic family, and he will always have a place in these movies and TV shows as long as he'd like to be around. Hold on. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 won't recast the role of Dr. Robotnik if Jim Carrey retires, and it's actually the only reasonable way to continue the franchise. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 producers Neil H. M. Moritz and Toby Asher have confirmed that they won't recast Dr. blah, blah, blah. So, to me, it sounds like Jim Carrey has retired, doesn't want to do the movie, and they're not going to recast Dr. Robotnik and instead give him a new foe. And I believe that Shadow the Hedgehog really only makes the only sense. Also, it's a very still loved character from the Sonic franchise is Shadow the Hedgehog. Some people like Shadow more than Sonic, so it'll be interesting to see that take. This is how much I know about Sonic. I didn't even know that Shadow was an evil Sonic.
I knew there was a game with Shadow, but that's about it.
I also didn't know that Knuckles was kind of a bad guy. But we're going to talk more about that when we get to Sonic 2. So, we'll get into our final segment of this, which is Goofs. And then we're getting onto the ranking. Now, you remember, we're ranking Uncharted, Tomb Raider, Super Mario Brothers, Sonic, and I'm forgetting the other movie again. Is that it?
That is it.
Oh, and Detective Pikachu.
Yes.
Keep forgetting. So, make sure you stick around for after this when we do our ranking, because you'll get to see what we thought of our other video game movie reviews if you haven't watched those already. So with Goofs, let's get into some Goofs. Goofs is a segment we do where we go over all the mistakes, well, some of the mistakes that you can find while watching this movie that have been left in the cut. So with that, our first Goof will be when Sonic and Robotnik arrive in Egypt near the Giza pyramids, there's nothing but desert visible in all directions. The pyramids and the Sphinx are actually surrounded by roads, numerous other monuments, and city on three sides. There's a Pizza Hut less than 1,000 feet from the Sphinx itself.
That
kind of really upsets me because I love ancient Egypt, and just imagining that there's like a fucking Pizza Hut near the fucking Sphinx is really upsetting. In the end credit music listing for Queen's Don't Stop Me Now, Freddie Mercury's first name is misspelled as Freddy. Freddy. Tom, Donut Lord, and Maddie, Pretzel Lady, have never been inside of Sonic's cave, yet at the end of the movie, his room in the attic is decorated with all of his personal belongings. When Sonic is shown reading a stack of comic books taller than he is, at least 100 issues, there are actually only 4 issues rotated multiple times in varying order in the special effects shot. That's some lazy fucking special effects work right there for a big budget movie, whatever. And that is basically all the goofs. There's a couple more, but they all look like garbage. They're all like, oh, if you look carefully, you can see that there's a fucking car in the background here or whatever, and so like that, whatever. So with that, we're going to get on to our official ranking for video game movies ranked and reviewed. Now, the old ranking looked a little like this, if I can find it. Yep, here it is. This is the last episode's rankings. Myself, number 1, Detective Pikachu. Number 2, Uncharted. Number 3, Tomb Raider 2018. And number 4, Super Mario Brothers from 1993. And ALANNIS's was number 1, Tomb Raider 2018. Number 2, Uncharted. Number 3, Detective Pikachu. And number 4, Super Mario Brothers 1993. And here is the new ranking. Number 1. Number 1 for myself. Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Number 2, Uncharted. Number 3, Tomb Raider. Number 4, Sonic the Hedgehog. And number 5, Super Mario Brothers. And for ALANNIS, it goes number 1, Tomb Raider. Number 2, Uncharted. Number 3, Sonic the Hedgehog. Number 4, Detective Pikachu. And number 5, Super Mario Brothers movie. And yes, I do hate ALANNIS for nearly putting Detective Pikachu last. But what can you do?
But there's a lot of other things we're going to be seeing that's probably going to push it up.
Yeah, some movies are going to make me go. So, that is our official review of Sonic the Hedgehog. Continuing our video game movies ranked and reviewed series. Now, coming up next on video game movies ranked and reviewed, of course, is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Followed by, what are we doing next, ALANNIS?
What are we doing next? We've got a little bit of time. Our next big thing is Black Panther, which is start of November.
Yes, so
the week of the 11th.
Yes, so we will be bringing you our review of Wakanda Forever, as well as our review for Black Panther. Now, ALANNIS, we also should work out where we are going after Sonic the Hedgehog with our video game movies ranked and reviewed series, and not leave this series on the back burner like we have been for months.
Yes.
So, again, with the choices we have, ALANNIS, I want you to pick where we go from here after the Sonic movies.
For this one, I say, do we want to torture ourselves or what? Try to have a good time?
You're gonna say Assassin's Creed, aren't you?
Maybe.
I guess we're watching Assassin's Creed.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, dude, I have.
I mean, I like Michael Fassbender, but I think that's probably the only thing I like about this movie.
Oh man, it's a slog. Let's just put it that way. Like it is. It's the sort of movie that you're gonna fucking get antsy in, man. Because look, dude, I got it when it was in a period of everything was in 3D, and I had a 3D television, and I'd watch anything that was released in 3D, and I had a good time with it because of the 3D. And Assassin's Creed came out, and again, the movie was so bad that the 3D conversion they did was terrible, and it was barely 3D. So the whole movie sucks, even the 3D. So I guess we're going to do Assassin's Creed. And I think we should work out where we're going from there as well. Assassin's Creed followed by...
Let's do...
Tomb Raider. And then do Cradle of Life.
Okay. You just want to push Detective Pikachu up, don't you?
That's my whole plan. There is no better movie. And also, the Super Mario Brothers movie is coming out a lot sooner than I thought it was going to be, with the date of April 7th. Now, I thought it was going to be Christmas time next year. So, this series doesn't have a lot longer to go before we get to the movie that caused us to start this series in the first place. So, I don't know how long it's going to take us to get through all video game adaptation, like movie adaptions, but there's a fucking shitload, isn't there?
Yep. And there's a lot of really bad. There's more bad ones than good ones, which we're in for a bumpy ride.
Yeah, man.
Do you know there is a Far Cry movie?
There is?
It's not good. It's by U-Boll. Nearly everything by U-Boll is not good. He's pretty much a rich guy who was like, I'll make video game movies.
There's been some bad ones. We're going to sit through the Mortal Kombat movies, the Street Fighter movies.
Yep. Although I like Street Fighter and the 90s Mortal Kombat, I have a soft spot for, in a kind of Batman and Robin kind of a way. Oh no, the Resident Evil movies.
Yes. I don't know, man. I'm just sitting here in shock because of the movies we have to put ourselves through next. But surely they can't be as bad as Halloween Ends. But as I said before, if you haven't gone and checked our review out to that, full spoiler review is available up now. But don't worry, if you haven't seen the movie and you still want to hear our thoughts on it, you can check out the first 10 minutes of our review, roughly, and not be spoiled, but hear our thoughts. And if you want to stick around for the spoilers, we get into them and we dissect that fucking movie, I tell you what. And also, we just finished reviewing all the Halloween movies. And if you don't want to go check out every single review, all 13 nearly hour/40-minute long episodes, you can go check out our last episode of Ranked and Reviewed, which is called Halloween Revisited and Reflected. And we basically go through every ranking and discuss why we put it there, what we thought. 5 minutes each movie. It's about an hour and a half the episode, but we actually do something we've never done before, and that's re-rank some of the entries in the franchise after letting them digest a little bit more. Like, for instance, example, ALANNIS came to his senses and moved Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 down further than he put it in the first place, because he put it pretty goddamn high, and I was disgusted. Ew.
What was your face like?
My face? I believe it was a little like this. That's still better than this. I'd still rather look like ugly Sonic than this. Or I'd still look like ugly Sonic and pull a face like this. By the way, did you hear that there's already been a sequel to The Flash greenlit?
Really? With Ezra Miller?
They haven't said so yet. But did you hear that Ezra Miller is looking at 26 years in prison? There was an article that came out and they said that if he is fully charged, he could be slapped with 26 years in prison. Now, let's be real. ALANNIS, let's be real. Ezra Miller isn't going to prison for 26 years. He has too much money and he is too important in Hollywood to go away. He is not Bill Cosby, who is way past his prime and had 100 fucking people saying, yeah, he's a fucking creep. Ezra Miller will get out of it. Do you think he will?
I think like, worst case scenario, he might do a little bit of time in rich person prison, but he won't do 26 years.
I don't think so, man. I don't think he's going to do any time. I think they're just going to be like, listen, give us $1 million and you're all good. Like, you have a fine of $1 million. You've got charges. Like, you are on a good behavior bond. Maybe he can't leave the country. Maybe he can only stay in America. Like, there's going to be all sorts of punishment that this guy's going to get, but there is no way he's getting 26 years. I mean, Martha Stewart committed fraud against the government, and she got, like, fuck all the time. Wasn't it like 6 months or some shit?
Something like that.
but her fucking her name is forever tarnished. So everyone, go check out our other reviews, our Halloween ranked and reviewed series, or our latest review where we cover all of them. And make sure you tune in next time for our review of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, followed by Assassin's Creed with the awesome Michael Fassbender and the great plot they've got there, followed by Tomb Raider and Tomb Raider Cradle of Life. Also, we know it's been a while, but don't worry, this week, the second half to Pop Vulture's top 10 video games of all time is coming out. So make sure you look out for that too. And we will be returning to the normal Pop Vultures podcast format as well next week. ALANNIS, is there anything you'd like to say to the lovely people before we get the fuck out of here?
Don't see Halloween Ends.
Yes. And also, ALANNIS missed what you may have missed. All right, I have been your host for video game movies ranked and reviewed. TOMYE West is my name. That's what people call me. Or Tom, whatever. And my co-host, ALANNIS Maximus, he always joins me. So make sure you come back and check us out if you like to see his face more. And me get angry at some of his choices. And him to do things that cause me to go. I'm just leaving this on now forever. All right. See you later, guys.
And you'll see this face.
Yes, and this face. It's the same face. All right, guys. See you next review.
See you later.